Good morning. This is Dr. Renee, and we're here with BlackDoctor.org's Facebook Live once again. And so today I have a really great guest, but I want to start off by telling you guys that this weekend, for the people in Atlanta that are watching, is the AIDS Walk Atlanta, September 29th. The walk actually begins at 11, but registration starts at 10 a.m. But it's not too late for you, one, to donate, and two, if you'd like to participate. We actually have virtual walkers too, so for those that are not in Atlanta. So I will have Jasmine put the link, but it's http://drrenee.co/AWA-team19. But we'll get that because it has to be, it's case sensitive. So we'll get it all straightened out. And so, but the walk is to support, obviously, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, which we've had on BlackDoctor.org many times before. So it's a great cause, and the money is definitely needed because I'm sure you all know how expensive drugs can be. And we want everyone to know their status, and then if they are positive, to definitely get treatment. So that's my PSA this morning about AIDS Atlanta, and I'm very excited to be participating. So I'll be there. So if you want to come and meet me, I will be there walking myself. It's only a 5K, so it's not that bad. And if you want to, you can also run, and I believe it's also going to be a qualifier for something too. But I'm not a runner, so I don't know that detail, but I do know I will be walking. This year, it's a music festival as well. Headliner is Monica. Raheem Devon is also performing. Amarla Negro is performing, and a host of other people. So it's going to be a really, really, really awesome time. I'm very excited. So now, today we are talking about our health, because of course that's what we always talk about, Black Doctor, right? And you know, health encompasses a whole lot of things. So today we're going to focus on Thrive Now Wellness, which is Nishisski's business, and we will talk about all the amazing things that she does to help people to get off of their diabetes meds, off their blood pressure meds, lose weight, and just overall get better health and live longer. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so, Nishisski, if you could tell people what it is exactly that you do.
Okay. So, thank you so much, Dr. Renee. And as she mentioned, my name is Nishisski, last name Chandler. And in my business, mostly people call me Coach Chandler because my first name sometimes confuses people. And in Thrive Now Wellness, I coach, I consult, and I also have a line of products as well. And I specialize in helping people to make the nutrition, the lifestyle, and a lot of times the mindset changes that they need to make in order to transform and improve their health. And how I do that, about 70% of my focus is through nutrition. What a person is putting in and on their body. So that's food, that's whatever they're drinking, as well as the body products as well. And so that's 70% of the focus. And most of the time, that's enough to get a significant amount of shifts and changes. And then the other 30% is I look at their lifestyle, and that's their everyday habits and routines so that they can incorporate those healthier actions on a consistent basis to actually flow with the demands of their life.
Awesome. So today's focus is on food pairing, which I just recently, because of her, became aware of. But I'm very interested, and I think you'll find it very interesting because, you know, everyone always says it's all going to the same place, but apparently there is some reason why you should not eat certain things together. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you, so with your business, I know you wrote a book to help busy people like myself to make sure that we stay healthy even though we're on the go.
Yes.
Can you tell people about the book?
Okay, so I have a cookbook. It's called the Live Free Cookbook. And so when I first started my business, most of my clients were all people with what I call a high demand lifestyle. So, you know, they have a lot of responsibilities. They may have multiple businesses, directors, CEOs. And so those are the people who felt like they were just too busy to take care of themselves. And so I ended up creating the book because some of it is giving people, well, my motivation was to give people examples and exposure of how they can eat and how they can make healthier choices so they can make progress wherever they are. So I want them to be able to make good decisions, whether they are in their kitchen, right? So there's recipes for that, tasty, savory. I'm from the South, so everything is soulful. So tasty, savory, soulful recipes, but also very healthy. And then I want them to use those examples from the cookbook to make good decisions, whether they're on vacation, whether they're at a conference, or whether they're ordering in from Uber Eats. And so the cookbook is, again, it's called Live Free. And it's free of a lot of the common allergens that cause setbacks for people when it comes to their health. And so some of those are dairy. Another one is processed grains. Another one is soy. And then we all know about the sugar, right? So especially the processed sugars and how they can be so harmful to our health. And so this cookbook is free of dairy, soy, processed sugars, and grains. And it's for the people who are looking into or interested in or live a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle. It's very vegan, vegetarian friendly as well.
Awesome sauce. So now this food pairing. Now I watched this, but she sent me a video. I watched this video. It was very long. It was very interesting though. So can you explain? So where do we start, and why is it so important?
Yes, good question. So, okay, she calls it food pairing. If you Google it, you also may see food combining. So both of those are interchangeable. And why does it matter so much? So when people are needing to shift their health, or just to live, a healthy lifestyle, feel better, not feel bloated, not feel heavy, not feel sluggish, whether that's with their mental, brain function, or just in their body. Sometimes people start to feel kind of that stagnation and that slowdown in their body. We've been told often that you are what you eat.
We hear that every day.
So I want to add to that. You are what you absorb. So the reason why we care about food combining, when we want to influence and get positive results in our health, is because when you are consuming food, you want to get the optimum digestion so that you can actually get the benefit of what you paid for. So whether that's supplements, whether that's the food that you get from Whole Foods, like a lot of times people say, oh, I got this organic whatever from Whole Foods, right? Well, if you're pairing it wrong, or if your digestive system is weak, you're not able to get the full benefit from
So you're not getting the vitamins and the minerals that you think you're getting because you ate a colorful plate.
Right. The other thing is that it sometimes will cause this, when you don't pair your food well, it will cause the digestive system to be sluggish. So in my business, a lot of times, often, I'm able to get results because I pay attention mostly to the functionality of the different systems in the body. So the digestive system, right? How is it functioning? How is it flowing? And are we working in harmony with it? Proper food combining helps you to work in harmony with how your body is designed to function. So when you mix, let's say, steak, potatoes, broccoli, and let's say after that you have a strawberry ice cream with berries in it or something. Once all of that gets in the body, it's extremely taxing on the digestive system to break all of that down, make sense of it, extract the nutrients, expel the waste in a harmonious way. So a lot of times people get that sluggishness, right? That 2 o'clock drag after lunch, or the famous, after Thanksgiving meal where everybody's in a coma. That's because you overtaxed the system. And so we just have to be mindful so that we can pair our foods in a way where we get the best results. Once people feel the difference, they like feeling light. They like having that ability to focus and not being slowed down just because they ate a meal. And then also being able to sustain their energy level throughout the day. Does that help?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. So what is some basics to start off? Like, let's start at the top of the day, breakfast.
Okay, so for breakfast, I normally tell people to have a liquid breakfast. So I'll give two examples. I'll give an example of a liquid breakfast, and then I'll give examples of some solid breakfasts as well. That way people are equipped, right? Yes. So the reason why I often tell people to start with a liquid breakfast is because early in the morning, for the average person wakes up around 6, and they have breakfast, and then they have lunch around 11 or 12. Well, the liver, it actually starts its process of detoxification naturally. It just naturally happens, right? Sometimes we can help it out and boost it, but what it naturally does, it starts about 11 o'clock at night, and it's doing its thing, it's in its zone and its element till about 11 o'clock the next day. So when we wake up and we put some grits and eggs and toast and bagels and, and cream cheese and Nutella on top of it, we actually slow that process down, right? So we want to support the body and how it's designed to function. And when we do that, there's a big difference. Energy level, weight loss, improvements in elimination, all of that starts to kind of show up when you are mindful of that. So a couple examples of things that you can have. So when you have the liquid, because your body naturally will work to liquefy things. That's why we chew, and then the saliva comes up. So your body is working to liquefy it anyway. So you take the stress off the system if you just start with a liquid breakfast. So some of the things to try out is warm lemon water. That's a good one. It helps with boosting digestion. Some people have lost some belly fat as a result of it. It boosts the energy level, and it also increases the alkalinity in the body. And a lot of times that makes a person have more energy early in the morning. That's an example. A couple other examples is you can do juices. So juicing is popular now. There's juice bars all over the place. So juices is a good one. Another good one is smoothies is a good one as well. It depends on what you put in the smoothie.
What's the difference between a juice and a smoothie?
Okay, good. Let me finish this and then I'll run. So. And then another liquid breakfast that you can try out, and this one people really like, is a breakfast soup. It's not really popular in our culture, but in other cultures it is very popular. And especially like macrobiotics, which is an eating style that people use, it's actually a lifestyle that people use to help realign their bodies and heal themselves. And so in that, you would make a soup. One of my favorites, and one of the favorites of a lot of the people that I work with, is a sweet potato soup early in the morning. Because it still has that kind of sweet and savoriness that we're used to in the morning time. And you can puree it, or you can, most of the time I tell people to just puree it, but I tell them also to use a lot of broth. You can do a broth. I'm a big fan of bone broth. We've talked about that before. So bone broth is also a great breakfast. And then there's also, you can make a vegetable brothy soup as well. So those are a couple of examples from a liquid breakfast perspective. When it comes to a solid breakfast, you want to keep it as simple as possible. So you can have, I like to have, if I'm going to have a solid breakfast, normally I'll start with some nuts and some seeds. So maybe some walnuts, some almonds, some pine nuts, and so those are the things that I normally have, just a bowl of nuts. And then if I'm going to have fruit, I'm going to have all fruit. I'm not going to mix fruit and vegetables, right? Because that's one of the principles of fruit combining, which we should probably talk about the principles. But I will not mix fruit and vegetables. So if you're going to have fruit, have all fruit. And then even within the fruit, if you're going to have berries, try to have all berries. If you're going to have melons, try to have all melons. So stay within the classes of the actual fruit.
Interesting. Did you notice Shane mentioned biscuits, cake?
So let's talk about that.
Pancake.
Right? So that's not something you want to do every day. Right. Here are a couple suggestions if you want to do pancakes, or if you want to do biscuits or something like
my
that.
favorite pancakes. One of my favorite pancakes. The oatmeal pancakes.
Yes, the oatmeal pancakes. So if you're gonna have that, when you're having breakfast with a friend once a month or so.
What's the name of my restaurant? Ruby Slipper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we went to Flying Biscuit.
Flying Biscuit. That's for the oatmeal pancake in Atlanta. Oh my God.
Yes. So when you do that, you want to again stay within the actual dish. So if you love those oatmeal pancakes, go to town on the oatmeal pancakes. but don't mix the oatmeal pancakes plus, you know, the turkey sausage plus the, you know, peaches that they brought out.
So you don't, because like with the oatmeal pancake, okay, but then I always think I'm supposed to have protein, which is why I ordered turkey based the bacon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean turkey sausage.
Well, you know, that whole protein thing is another conversation. But you use a lot of bone broth. And bone broth is actually a liquid form of protein. So
no, I know.
You're getting
no, I know.
But you don't have to have protein every week.
Oh,
Get an adequate amount throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
so
again, this is, you know, for people who are looking for certain
results. Right.
Or if they have weaknesses in their body and they really need to work on improving those weaknesses.
So this is food as medicine. So for those that are anti going to the doctor, or you want to the doctor and you're anti taking the medications that they're giving you, these are some things that might be able to help you. But by no means am I saying not take the medication, because I am a doctor and I firmly believe that you should take the meds. But you should discuss with your doctor, is there something else I can do in addition to, or something, because like I said, she's getting great results. You know, people are getting off of their blood pressure meds and their diabetes medications and stuff, but they are taking them until they don't have to. So
that's a great point. I want to add to that. So when someone starts to make a dietary adjustment or change in their lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So when they start making that lifestyle change, the body will respond in a lot of different ways. And so we don't want to do anything major or drastic to take the person off of what's helping them, right? Until the body basically gives us the information that, oh, okay, I'm doing well,
right.
I'm recovering, I'm shifting.
Yes.
So that'll change. The changes that they'll notice is, of course, energy, how they feel, their mood, their sleep quality, their mental clarity, their skin will often respond as well. But more importantly, the blood work. Right, so when I'm working with my client, after a certain amount of time, normally within 3 weeks, depending on what we focused on, we can get significant shifts in the blood work. And then we allow the blood work, which is the body's way of giving us good information, to dictate what is now needed or not needed. Okay? And so basically you're changing the physiology of the body.
Right. Yeah. So explain the difference between juices and smoothies.
Yes, ma'am. So I get this question a lot, and I always smile when I get it. Both are great, right? I want to start by saying, because now we have a big culture of like the smoothie challenges and stuff like that, and all of that is wonderful. I welcome it, because for the average American, it increases the amount of actual fruit and vegetables that they consume, because so many people are eating out of a box and eating out of a bag and eating things that are so far from, food, right? In its original state, it's been processed 3 and 4 and 5 times, and every time it's processed, nutrients come out. So first, I want to say, before I go into this, I support both juicing and smoothies. Now, the difference is, remember when I said the digestive system is working to liquefy, right? It does 2 things. It's getting the enzymes out of the food to help break it down, right, so that it can absorb it, and then it's liquefying so that your body can kind of make sense of it and do what it needs to do. Well, when you're juicing, it takes some of that work off of the digestive system, and it just goes straight into the system and starts working. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have the fiber of the vegetables or the fruit in it. When you are doing the smoothies, you're putting pretty much a slice of an apple or a bunch of the kale or whatever it is. So you're keeping the fiber, and you're also still having the nutrients in there as well.
So one's extracting the juice, the other one has the whole kitchen sink. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. So whether one is better, it depends on what your goal is. Both have their benefits, but that's kind of the difference, is how much work your digestive system has to make in order to use it. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is how much fiber you're actually going to consume. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the principles of the food pairing?
Yes. So principles of food combining, high level, simplified. Number one is, first let me explain. So the food that we eat don't all break down or process in the body at the same rate. That's just nature did that, right? We had nothing to do with that part. So what I mean by that is how and the rate at which a watermelon actually processes and breaks down in the body is very different from, let's say, a steak or a chard, because I always say kilo, so I'll say chard, right? Mm-hmm. Very different timelines, right? When you start combining things and those timelines are vastly different, then sometimes it causes the system to have to work harder. It will cause fermentation as well. And so sometimes people end up having like gas or bloating, or, you know, it increases the chances of their body not being able to fully eliminate it. So this thing of what we call an impacted colon, where people have waste in their body that's been there for years, right? That's one of the ways to do it. So we want to keep that system flowing and moving as harmoniously as possible, because we don't want to hold on to anything that's not serving us well. So high level, the principles are, you don't want to mix fruits and vegetables, right? That's the main thing. And then if you're gonna, when you do pair, let's say if you want to consider what type of protein you want to add in, some of the best ways to combine the protein is you can do a protein and vegetables, or
protein and fruit. No?
No, protein and fruit. Protein and starch.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so that's when with a meal, though, that's the best way to pair. So let me give some examples. So let's say I start with people who consume animal products. You eat salmon, right?
No, I'm allergic to seafood.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's say lamb.
Okay.
So let's say if you were to get a piece of lamb and you wanted to do proper food combining, you could do lamb, and then you could do say some roasted asparagus and maybe some Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
Right? And then if you wanted to say, you know what, today I'm going to do meatless. Let's say you did meatless Monday. Then you could do some black beans, some coleslaw, and some kale. Or black eyed peas. Right? Because that's more than so. So black eyed pea, coleslaw, and kale. So, and then if you wanted to do the starches, then you would do, let's say you did your lamb or bison and a sweet potato.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So steak and potato is actually really good food. Really good food combined. And so these principles are so effective. Remember the Atkins diet?
Yes.
One of the reasons why it's so effective is that it does follow the food combining principle.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the fruit, because I love fruit, like I'm a fruit junkie, a couple things to think about is if you do really want to mix fruit with some type of vegetable, let's say if you're juicing for a smoothie, or let's say you want to add a little bit of spice to a salad or something, don't do a kale, cucumber, strawberry salad, right? Some examples is you would do the kale and chard, and then you can do some apples, dehydrated or fresh slices. The fruit that pair best with vegetables are going to be apples, pears, lemons, limes, and our beloved avocado. So those pair extremely well with the fruit and vegetables. Yeah, so that's the high level. That's the high level.
Very interesting. So now Shiki, like she said, she has products, and so I recently finished a bag of her protein powder, the cinnamon flavored. It was delicious. My only thing was at first was like, oh my God, it just needs a little something. So I put honey in it, and that was a little something needed, and I was good. So if I had agave, I would have put agave. It would have been fine. But so with like, because I just I have another friend that has some protein powders too. So with that, so hers is a vanilla flavor, and it was delicious too. So if you are going to do a protein powder, because like you said, you're going to do a liquid breakfast. If you're going to do a protein powder, what is the extra oomph you can add to it?
Oh my dear, I get this as a question a lot.
I know you do,
because people want to add some bananas, I had one person that added like some, and this is to the shake, the powder that you had. They added like some spinach or something. Best case scenario with my powders, because they are designed to be kind of that complete morning nourishment. And they will hold you up until about that 11, 12 o'clock time.
Well, you know, I intermittent fast, so I drank it after 12 o'clock, and then I was fine for that.
So it's designed that way.
Yeah.
So best case scenario, I say just have that, and if you need some sweetener, add your sweetener. But if you just have to add something else because it's just going to make you feel more complete if you did that, then I would say apples, pears, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's about
and then also, you know, everyone sees these super greens. So can you add those? Because I know that that's technically supposed to be a serving of vegetables, but can you add these to?
So I like those. You meaning like the?
It's like powder.
Yeah, it's the powders. I actually make my own, but so some of the ones that I really like are gonna have like chlorella, which is the sea vegetable in there. Maybe some moringa. I work with a lot of moringa. Maybe even some spirulina. So those blends are awesome. What I recommend is that you have those with a liquid of your choice. My preference is to have it with coconut water. So you know, like coconut water. So my preference is to have it with coconut water. With those though, you could also have them with a juice, like an apple juice. And that's kind of the best way to have them.
So I sprinkled it in my shake.
That's fine. So the thing is there's good, better, best, right? There's always a scale.
Right.
I'd rather you have it than not have it, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you wanted to just, you know, simplify things for your system, just a liquid of your choice that you like and then throw it in there.
Okay. So what products do you have?
Oh my dear. So so I have a couple of shakes. So there's the shake that you had, which is the cinnamon shake, which is awesome. I've been working with that one for years. It's been good for a whole lot of things: blood pressure, weight loss, appetite, cravings, blood sugar. So that's that one. So that's
so how much protein is it?
I think it's 18. Yeah, 18 grams.
So. Yes, it's 11 grams of fiber.
11 grams of fiber, and it's all plant-based.
Right.
So it's some nuts, seeds, and spices.
It's soy-free.
Soy-free.
Vegan, dairy-free, grain-free.
Yes. Yeah. Soy-free, dairy-free, grain-free, and it also doesn't have any fillers. Everything in there is intentionally there to benefit you, not to make it more, right? And then I have a chocolate flavored protein shake as well. And it's just a shift in the flavoring, but it still has the 18 grams of protein and the 11 grams of fiber. And then I have another shake that is called the Restore. And so because I've had to help people eat to heal, right? So most of the things that I formulated was for the purpose of people being able to recover their body from something. So this particular, the Restore, it helps with the central nervous system, so it will improve sleep, but more importantly, it helps with cognitive function. So I've had a few people with dementia, and it has helped with that. So that's that one, and that's one you want to have at night because it will help to kind of calm you down and improve your sleep quality. And then I have a line of teas as well. So the most popular tea right now is the Wellness Oasis tea. And that one is like a tea multivitamin. So it has a lot of like superfood type herbs in there. And it makes you feel really hydrated. First of all, it has like a minty kind of freshness to it, but it makes you feel extremely hydrated. It also will make you feel energized, and it also makes you feel calm. So a lot of people are stressed for many reasons, and just having a cup of that, you know, a couple times a day definitely can help in you calm and feeling more calm because some of the herbs are good for helping to balance out stress.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have one for women. It's called it's called Harmony for Women, and that's because a lot of women have issues that cause them pain and discomfort. So that's PMS, premenstrual syndrome, as well as people who are in menopause. And oftentimes people believe that the cramps and the bloating and the backaches and the headaches and all the stuff that we associated with PMS is like supposed to happen. And when you're well nourished and well hydrated, those symptoms completely go away. And so that tea is the kind of is designed to help women with that, because there's no need to suffer when we have solutions out there. Mm-hmm. So there's that one. And then I have Flower Power, which is actually a fun tea that was formulated for children. So it's like a juice, like my nieces, well, the children in my life, you know, they drink like the juicy juices and stuff like that, and it just bothered me so good. So I formulated Flower Power to almost be like a juice that they can drink without knowing that it's good for them. It's really high in vitamin C. That's really good for this time of year because it's back to school and, you know, you get the colds and stuff, so it boosts the immune system. But again, it's like juice, so, you know, they don't know if they're drinking.
Yeah, that is amazing. So where can they find these products?
Yes, so all of my products are on my website, and the website is thrivenowwellness.com. Again, thrivenowwellness.com. And then if you go to the store, all the products are listed there.
And did you have something for them?
And I do have something for them. There's a code. The code is Black Doctor. And when you use that code now until the end of the year, you will get 10% off your purchase. And I'm keeping that going because we're in the last 100 days of 2019. And this is historically the time of year where people make the worst health decisions for themselves.
Holiday time is coming.
Mm-hmm. So there's a spike of emergency room visits and deaths. And so just because people have poor decisions. And so I want to empower people with tools that can help them to keep working on that lifestyle change, be successful in getting wellness results, and explore something new as opposed to indulging too much. So, yeah.
Everything in moderation. So if you can 6 days a week do this, then you can have that one day. Or if you can do 2 months and then Thanksgiving, you can enjoy, and then back to this, and then you can enjoy Christmas. So
definitely.
I always put things in perspective.
Yes. And then the thing is as people start, what I find is as they start to really be successful with the lifestyle change, they feel too good to go back 100%, right?
Right.
And you'll find you feel so good. It's like, you know what, I'm going to have these, you know, oatmeal pancakes, and I might not feel like at my tip top, but I'll just do it today, and then next week I'll be at my peak again, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Do we have any questions, Jeff?
Yes. What are some good foods to help increase energy, specifically for smokers?
Oh my dear.
Well, first thing, stop smoking.
So that's an addiction. So one of the things that I'll say, I want to say is there are some herbs that will help with addiction. So definitely look into that. One of the ones that have been very effective at helping to kind of deter people from smoking is wheatgrass. Doing fresh wheatgrass shots every day. If you can do it twice a day, about 2 to 4 ounces twice a day, it'll start to kind of make the whole smoking thing taste bad. So that's a tip. So increasing energy, the question that we have to ask is, why is your energy low? Right? Anytime your body is presenting with a challenge, we always have to ask why, okay? And there could be many reasons why. And so, you know, definitely high level without understanding your particular situation. I would say if you can increase the amount of vegetables that you consume and make sure that you're extremely well hydrated. Hydrated meaning half your body weight in ounces. So let's say I weigh 150, let's say I weigh 160 pounds. I need 80 ounces of water a day. I had to be real with myself. I'm 160. So you need about 80. I need to drink 80 ounces of water per day. So nailing those basics, and then with the fruit and vegetables, well, the vegetables that you consume, try to make sure they are as least processed as possible. So make sure they're fresh. And even think about how long you're cooking them. So try to preserve the nutrient value of them by maybe sauteing them a little, or maybe even marinating them and having them raw. Those are some things to think about. And when I say the amount, think about when you sit down to eat, try to have 80 to 90% of your plate be plants. Try that for about 3 weeks and see what happens. So normally what happens when I recommend that to people, within about 3 weeks, they naturally have an increase in energy, regardless of what they're working on. They naturally have an increase in energy, and they also naturally feel calmer. So the proportion of vegetables that you eat at each meal is what I would say high level. But I also still do consultations, even though I don't know how long. But I do consultations, and you can book that on my website as well, because sometimes we need to really look at your particular health history and some of the things that are presenting for you on an individual basis, and then I can give better recommendations.
Right. Is taste an indicator of what foods don't pair well together? Like an example being cereal with milk and orange juice?
Taste is not.
Because some of the things that I said to her tasted really great together, but then she said no.
And so, you know what, to speak to that, what happens is, so let's say, again, I'm from the South, grew up on soul food. So let's say if we did yams, oxtails, cornbread, macaroni and cheese, and collard greens, right? So let's say if we did all that on one plate, that's horrible food combining, but it tastes good. So what we do, and this is another reason why I wrote the cookbook, is we take those principles and we make it work for the flavor profiles that we like. So if I were going to do that, I'm not going to do beef because I don't consume very much meat, but I would do a mushroom and I would flavor it similar. Preferably there's a specific type of mushroom. I'm drawing a blank on the type right now.
Portobello, no?
It's not portobello. It's I'll tell you because right now I'm drawing a blank. But there's, a mushroom would be really good. And then I would do, instead of the traditional macaroni and cheese, I would do maybe a lentil pasta.
Okay.
Right? So I would do a lentil pasta, and I would probably do a cheese alternative. And there are some really amazing cheese alternatives out there now. So I would do a cheese alternative, and then still do the greens. And then for the cornbread, I would do a coconut flour, almond flour cornbread.
Okay.
And then I would have the yams. So that would still pair. It'll digest better than what we grew up on. So. Yeah. So you keep the flavor, you just change the context. Because the thing is that oftentimes when things are flavored well, we can get along with it pretty good.
No, it's totally true.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with brown rice versus white rice. If you flavor it the same, it tastes exactly the same.
Okay. Is there a certain time of day that you shouldn't eat fruit if you're looking to lose weight?
Thank you for mentioning time, because that's another thing in this whole optimizing digestion factor. So what I would say, again, don't mix it with fruit and vegetables, right? So don't mix fruit and vegetables. So try that. And then if you can, regarding timing, try not to eat after the sun goes down. If you have a regular lifestyle where you get up in the morning, you work all day, or you live your life all day, and then in the evening you're supposed to sleep. When the sun goes down, the circadian rhythm impacts our body. So things will slow down in our body as well, including our ability to digest. And so if you can just not eat after the sun goes down, that will help if you're trying to lose weight. And then if you just have to eat after the sun goes down, if you have a fruit, just have that type of fruit. Let's say if you're going to have berries, just have all berries. And that's it, to simplify the work that the digestive system has to do. Yeah.
What are some good food combinations to help with inflammation?
Okay. That's a good question. The first thing is you got to figure out if you're feeding the inflammation, right? So some of the things that will feed inflammation is going to be dairy. Another one is going to be sugar. So when we have inflammation at any level, we want to make sure that we do as much as we can to not contribute to it. So definitely start to reduce or eliminate those things as much as possible. And then when it comes to food, it's a similar recommendation that I made regarding the energy, increasing the quantity of the fresh stuff that your body can consume easily and process easily. That'll help. And again, the dairy and the sugar will feed it. Foods that will help with inflammation, in the Restore shake, that's really good at combating inflammation, and that shake has a lot of turmeric in it. So turmeric is a great, you can get it fresh. A lot of farmers markets now have it fresh. Whole Foods also has it fresh as well, but you can also get it in powdered form from an herb store as well as from the seasoning section of a grocery store. So when you start consuming turmeric, you want to do it. You want to be as consistent as possible, and you don't need like 1 or 2 capsules. You need like tablespoons, like 2 tablespoons a day to really feel it. Another food that I've worked with a lot and had a great deal of success with when it comes to reducing inflammation is ginger. Ginger is awesome. Ginger is awesome from pain after surgery to menstrual pain to migraines, gout, any type of inflammation, the other one, inflammation of the brain, dementia, any inflammation from head to toe, consuming shots of ginger. I like to tell people to have it fresh, right? Because I use food as medicine. So juicing the ginger or going to a juice bar, having them to juice it fresh, it's kind of strong. So if you can't take it, you can mix it with like some apple juice or some orange juice or maybe pineapple juice just to get it down. But that's one of the foods that I've used consistently to reduce inflammation and get very fast results. But you want to have multiple shots throughout the day. At a therapeutic level, I've had people to have 4 to 6 2 ounces shots per day. 4 to 6 2-ounce shots per day, and it really turns some things around. Yeah.
Are there any cautions you should take using protein powder if you experience kidney issues?
So that's another one that's really personal. Like so I'm gonna give you a high level, and I would say, in order to give a specific to that person, we would probably need to have a conversation, because kidney issues can vary, right? It can be, knowing that you have some weakness in your kidney, all the way up to end-stage renal disease, kidney failure, and I'm very familiar with that. So I know that they cannot have too much protein. It's harder for their bodies to break it down. So it depends on the person, but what I would say is have a simplified form of protein. So in this whole protein conversation, so we have the animal proteins, which your body has to break down, and it works harder to break it down, right? And then we have some of the plant-based proteins, and even in that, it can be simplified to like a bone broth. So if you know that you have issues, I would simplify it to like a bone broth, and have that. The proteins that I normally use and make are going to have either pea in it, peas, so beans, or it's going to have nuts and seeds like a hemp seed. So explore those, but it depends on what degree of kidney issues you have. I would have to understand that before I can make a recommendation.
Are there any foods that you can eat to help regrow hair?
Oh my dear. So there are a couple of herbs. So ginger is another one because it helps with circulation. So, and that's on the skin as well as when you ingest it internally. Again, you got to be consistent. So anything that's going to help with circulation, I would say will help with growing hair. Okay. Horsetail is really good, which can be taken internally and also put on the hair topically as well. And again, you just, gotta ask, why is your hair thinning?
Right.
Because right now, there's a lot of reasons why people could have a loss of hair. For women, it could be hormone imbalance, right? It could also be tension, because we live in a culture where wigs and weaves are really popular, and depending on how they're installed, it could be damaging, the follicles. So you got to think about kind of why. But high level, you want to make sure that you're eating things that's going to help with increasing circulation and then nourishment. So another one would be black sesame seeds. Black sesame seeds, horsetail, I would look into those too.
Going back to ginger, is it okay to boil the ginger as a tea? Will it work the same?
So I use a lot of things fresh, right? In my opinion, if you have it as a tea, will you get results? Yes. If you have it as a powder, right? Will you get results? Yes. Is it as effective as having it freshly juiced? No. And I can say that without a shadow of a doubt. But it's better to do something than nothing, right? It's better to get started and be consistent than to do nothing at all. So if the tea form is the best way that you can consume it and it works well for your lifestyle, then have that.
Would you suggest putting chia seeds in juices or smoothies?
I am a big fan of putting chia seeds in smoothies. Not in juices though. So chia seeds are extremely high in fiber, and one of the things about juicing is that you want to take the stress off the system from consuming the fiber. So with the chia seeds, they're great for smoothies. There's just this one caveat. If you put chia seeds in a smoothie, you need to drink it within about 30 minutes to an hour, because the chia seeds will swell and it will turn into a pudding. And so depending on whether you want a smoothie or you want a pudding cup, it all depends on timing. So in a lot of my shakes, I do use chia seeds just because they're so nutrient rich and it has so much actual fiber in them. If you get them, just make sure you drink them within 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah.
Now, are there any foods or food combinations that can help with hyperactive thyroid?
Yes. So the concept of food combining will help with any wellness challenge. So just a little bit of perspective. When the different systems in the body start to get off, right, where they're not functioning at an optimal level, things to consider is that there's weakness in the system and you need to try to regain harmony. The digestive system is the first line of defense. So with whatever you got going on, you want to be able to actually absorb your food and get the nutrients that is available. So regardless of what's wrong, this principle of food combining is extremely powerful because it can help with any issue. Couple of tips to kind of help out with this concept. So thinking about when you eat, not eating after the sun goes down, that helps. Another thing that will help when you think about food combining and improving digestion or optimizing digestion, which is what food combining is all about, is you could chew your food longer. So chewing is very powerful, right? So even if, whatever reason you're not able to pair well that day, one of the things that can help is if you can chew your food, let's say 30 times before swallowing. That helps. The side effects is that it will be more liquefied when you swallow it. It will reduce the amount of food that you actually eat. It boosts digestion, and so it will also increase elimination just from that one practice alone. So it'll really help the system out. The other thing is you can separate when you eat and drink. So as a culture, I always talk about this cultural thing, right? So as a culture, we think I have my plate and then I have my drink, whatever that drink may be. Well, you'll notice a big difference. Just try it out, test it out, right? Test it out for about 3 weeks. Do not eat an hour before and do not drink an hour before and an hour after you eat. So with that whole liquid breakfast thing in the morning, I often tell people, start your day hydrating yourself extremely well. 32 ounces, 64 ounces that you can take it. Hydrate yourself really well. That way you're hydrated throughout the day and you're not feeling like the need, like the, oh my God, if I don't drink this with this sandwich, I'm not gonna make it.
Right.
If you're well hydrated, you won't get that as much. But when we think about the functionality of the digestive system, when you separate that eating and drinking time, it actually helps to boost digestion. So those are two things. Even if you don't go to the farmer's market today and get a whole bunch of vegetables, those are two things that you can implement immediately and start feeling the difference.
Wow. Okay. What's your opinion on consuming collagen for joints, for hair and skin?
I am a huge fan of it. Yeah. And there's multiple forms of it. Like bone broth is really rich in collagen. We are both fans of it. And then there's the collagen supplements as well. So, and then you can get it from pine pollen as well. So you, if you can get it in consistently, I say go for it.
Okay, so if you were using the supplement, what are good pairings with the supplement?
It would. What do you? I would have to see a person's like regimen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I see the powder at like Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder how you would drink that or.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. So, my suggestion with supplements is if you can, try to get it in liquid form first, and second to that in powder form. For example, best case scenario. So, I work with a lot of moringa. Moringa doesn't really grow in abundance in the U.S. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So, if I'm going to consume it, best case scenario is to maybe eat it or juice it fresh. Second is to have it dehydrated, right, where it hasn't been, extremely heat treated, right? But have it dehydrated. So in those two ways, it's going to preserve more of its nutrient value. Same thing with supplements. If you can get it in a fresh, liquefied or something like that format, that would be great. If it's powdered, it has been processed a little bit. But then if it's put in a tablet, or if it's put in a gummy, right? Because now we have these gummy vitamins, which are such a joke.
I talked about the gummy apple cider vinegar, and they're so delicious.
But you have to look at the ingredients on that, and in order to make it a gummy, there's a lot of stuff that's not serving you well that they put in that so that it looks nice and pretty and smell good so that you can chew on it like some candy. So with that being said, if you can get it in a powder form, fresh and juice is best. After that, powder form, because it's going to be less processed. So even
with her question, the collagen, what would you put it in to take it in?
I would do a juice.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do a juice. Yep. And another one that's really good with collagen is MSM. So if you're not familiar with MSM, I suggest you look into it. But it's really great for boosting collagen, helping with joints, helping with, it also helps with inflammation. It helps with a lot of things. But MSM is like a liquid form. It's a powder form of sulfur. And you can mix it with something that's high in vitamin C. So that's lemon juice, that's lemonade, orange juice, pineapple juice, and it pairs extremely well. So if collagen is your thing, put it in some juice and get some MSM.
Now, when you say the joints, so someone suffering from arthritis, this is beneficial. Okay.
So arthritis is an inflammation condition.
Right.
Don't feed the inflammation and then supplement to fortify the body so that it can improve and not have as much of the pain and stuff
swelling and stuff. Okay. Any others? Well, thank you so much, everyone. Like I said, we will post the link I think she already posted the link for Nishishiki's website. We'll post the link for the AIDS Walk if you would like to donate, virtually walk, or actually come out and walk with us. It's going to be a beautiful day on Sunday. Nice and hot. Unlike Chicago, you see I have a sweater on, but she came in from Atlanta. So. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And first of all, where can we find you online?
Social. Okay, so we have a website on Facebook. There's two places. Nishisksi Chandler, which is my main page. My whole life is now my business, so that's what you're going to see on my main page. And then I also have the Thrive Now Wellness page, the business page. And then there's a Thrive Now Wellness with Coach Chandler group. So that group, when you want to ask questions, if you want to get in on any of the free challenges, if you want to stay abreast of what I got going on, if you want to see other people that are on the journey, that are asking questions, getting results, that have worked with me, that are thinking about working with me, they're all in that group. That's where they hang out. So, and that's the Thrive Now Wellness with Coach Chandler group. I'm on Instagram as Eat to Thrive Now.
The number 2.
Yeah, the number 2. Eat to Thrive Now. Yes.
And of course, you can follow me everywhere as Dr. Renee. Here's my lovely website. And I have a group too that I'm doing so much better now. But Live Life You Deserve. It's hashtag Live Life You Deserve. That's the group on Facebook if you would like to join. But of course, you can always find me on my page, Ask Dr. Renee. And we will see you again next month. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.